I conceptualized the project ELWar, which stands for Electoral Legacies of War, in the summer of 2015, at the height of the migrant crisis. The news was filled with the heartbreaking images of refugees trying to escape the conflicts in the Middle East. Those images reminded me very much of the experiences we lived through during the Yugoslav wars in the 1990s. Today, we're again faced with such images on an even larger scale in Ukraine. The purpose of ELWar, which was funded by a 1.5 million euro starting grant by the European Research Council, was to explain how those experiences of violence, loss, and exile affect the political decisions people make in the years and decades after the war's end. In order to answer those questions, I built a team capable of doing excellent research using a variety of methodological tools. We conducted extensive public opinion research, including survey-embedded experiments. We analyzed mountains of social network data. We collected hundreds of thousands of political speeches and media sources and analyzed them using the newest advances in natural language processing and machine learning. We've been on the cutting edge of political science research, and we have advanced our understanding of how wars get embedded into post-war politics.
For example, using massive corpora of political speeches from the national parliaments of Yugoslavia's successor states, we exposed how political elites of Southeast Europe talk about wars, how they mythologize their histories, how the discourse change over time, and who the most hawkish voices in the region are. Our study of media discourse from the period just before the war also revealed how the war narratives of the Second World War suffering were used to mobilize for the violence that was to come during the 1990s. We did all of this by developing and building from scratch the analytical tools for text and data mining. Processing these huge quantities of text often requires the massive computational powers of the university supercomputer. The results have been worth it. We have advanced how both war and political discourse can be studied and what tools can be used.
We also made big strides in explaining how this politicization of history, as well as real lived war experiences, affect people's political loyalties and choices. For example, we exposed not only how voters value candidates' military service, but also that they're more willing to forgive corruption into politicians who fought in the wars. Our social network analysis revealed that wars reorder people's social connections even decades after the violence has ended. People in war-torn regions are far more likely to be connected to those who share their war experiences and who view the war past in a similar way. This can make reconciliation much more difficult because people inhabit the bubbles of the like-minded. Our research also showed that people's war identities become part of the social fabric. These identities can be passed on, even to generations born after the wars.
As our findings show, today, more than 2 decades after the Yugoslav wars ended, political parties' attitudes toward the enemies from the 1990s are the defining feature of party competition. In Southeast Europe, it is not the party's position on the economy, but its position on recent history that defines it as either right-wing or left-wing. Parties' position on the recent past has become the principal signal of their ideological orientation to the voters. There is, however, one silver lining in the story. A country's clear European path can change the minds of voters, especially the newest generations, and orient them more towards the future rather than the past. That European path, however, needs to be real and attainable. This is an important message to European politicians that applies to Southeast Europe today and will likely apply to Ukraine tomorrow.